Do you make six figures but still feel broke? Like $8,000+ hits your account every single month, but by the end of the month, you're asking yourself, where did my money go? So as a financial coach to six-figure earners, I have seen some common patterns of specific behaviors that to me make it very obvious why you can make six figures and still feel broke. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 reasons why you can be a high earner and still feel broke. And if this is you, then stick around because later on in the video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I tell my clients for them to turn this around. So let's get started. But first, if you are new here, hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to The Choice Life. Reason number 1, golden handcuffs. So the concept of golden handcuffs basically means that you start a job that has a pretty high income and you then create a lifestyle around that high income, whether it be, car loans, your apartment or mortgage is really high, or other financial commitments that are taking up majority of that income. And if you end up realizing that this type of job you don't enjoy, or you don't have a lot of work-life balance, or you want financial freedom, you're kind of chained to this job because you cannot sustain your lifestyle without this high income. So you have to stay at this job even if you don't like it. So that's why it's called the golden handcuffs, because you feel trapped, but it's with a high income. So you cannot, go to a lesser paying job that will give you maybe more work-life balance or less stress, because you have created a lifestyle that requires this high income to sustain it. Basically, this is lifestyle creep, and you are increasing your lifestyle and the financial commitments that you have right along with your income increasing. And this is such a silent wealth killer, because if your lifestyle is taking up so much of your income, then you're not leaving room for saving or investing in building wealth for the future. So you have to be really careful about lifestyle creep and keeping your expenses well below your income, especially if you have a high income, because you want that income to work for you. And, especially people that are new to making money, new to a six-figure income, then they think that they need to go upgrade their car, upgrade their house, or start wearing new designer clothes, or start wearing new jewelry that they've never even heard of. And they increase and inflate their lifestyle that they can only sustain with a high income job. And whether or not they love that job, they need it because they're trapped. For some reason, people feel like once their tax bracket changes, their car needs to change or their zip code needs to change, and nothing could be further from the truth. And that is what's causing all of this lifestyle creep. And this leads perfectly into reason number 2 for why you can have a high income and still feel broke, and that is you have a high debt burden. So when you have a high income, you can actually have a very distorted view of affordability and what's reasonably affordable for you, and that will cause you to easily go into high amounts of consumer debt. And this is especially true if you are not on a budget, which we'll talk about later in the video. So typically high income earners do have high levels of student loan debt. So if you are a lawyer, a doctor, a CPA, a CRNA, or any of these other type of STEM fields that require longer schooling, then it is highly likely that you're going to have high student loan debt. So you could be making 6 figures once you graduate, but your student loan balance could be 2 to 3 times your annual salary, which that could take up a ton of your monthly income. So a good rule of thumb for student loans is do not take out more student loans than the first year's annual salary of the job that you want. So let's just say the job that you really want starts off at $60,000 entry level. Then you should not take out more than $60,000 of student loans. And my heart breaks when I hear stories of people who have $80,000 or $100,000 worth of student loans only to graduate and only get a job making $40,000 a year. Like, that's just so insane to me. And there are many reasons that happens, and that's not the topic of this video. Maybe I'll make a video talking about student loans, but basically just follow this rule of thumb. Do not take out more student loans than the first year's annual salary, and you'll save yourself a lot of frustration. Another debt that really tempts high income earners is car loan debt, because you can feel like, well, I got my big girl job now, so I need my big girl car to match. But please do not fall for the lies. Luxury cars are some of the worst ways to spend your hard-earned money because they're depreciating assets. So as soon as you drive it off the lot, it has gone down in value. So you've lost money there. And then as you're paying back the loan, you're paying interest and you're not going to see that money again. So you're getting hit twice when it comes to these car loans. And another debt that high income earners fall into is credit card debt. And I think the reason for this is because either they're trying to, get the points, and so they overspend trying to get all of these points or, cashback rewards. Another reason is just they don't have discipline and they don't pay back, all of the credit card balance by the end of the month, so they get hit with all this interest and they roll over the debt. But also, I think a big one is, and this was true for me, is they have scarcity mindset. So they have the money in their account, they have the money in savings, but it is too painful to see it go. So they rather pay for something with a credit card instead of using their savings to pay for it, because they feel like it's safer to use a credit card because at least they have that money still in their account. They feel it's kind of like a safety net. So that's a huge way that I see high income earners be strapped with all of this credit card debt. And I would say that if that is you, then please reframe your mind when it comes to credit cards. It is not your friend. Credit cards are not your friend. I do have a credit card and I use a credit card, but I always pay it off at the end of the month. So if you know that you don't have the discipline to always pay your credit card off at the end of the month, or if you're using it as like a safety net, like you don't want to use your savings, you rather use your credit card, that is a flawed way of thinking. And I understand it. I understand, like, you want the comfort of keeping that savings and not touching it, and you rather use your credit card. But trust me, it's more risky to hold on to debt. So let's try to reframe how we think about these credit cards. Reason number 3 that you could be a high income earner but still feel broke is you don't have a budget. I feel like high income earners sometimes get way too comfortable. They start to think, oh, I make all the money in the world, or, this money is just going to keep rolling in as it has, so why do I need to budget, or why do I need to live below my means? But honestly, I feel like that's a very flawed way of thinking, and it's a very dangerous way of thinking, because what if you lose your job? What if, an emergency happens and you can't work? And if you haven't prepared your finances, if you're not on a budget where you know exactly what's going on with your money and you have some savings set aside, like an emergency fund, if you haven't prepared all these things, then you will not be ready when life happens, because yeah, your job is paying you right now, but what if you get fired? What if it gets snatched from under you? So you have to prepare for these things, and a budget helps you to do that. I mean, just look at these athletes or celebrities. I feel like every single week there is a new headline that, oh, this person said they're broke, or this person's filing for bankruptcy, because it does not matter how much you make. You can make millions and millions and millions of dollars, but if you spend millions and millions and millions of dollars, you will be broke. That is why having a budget is so important, because it puts you in the driver's seat of your money and puts you in control, so you know exactly how much money you're making, how much money you're spending, and how much money you're saving. And I feel like a budget is basically you putting your finger on the pulse of your financial life. And if you have a budget, that means you have a plan for your money, and that plan will help you reach your goals for your money. And for me and my clients, that goal is financial freedom. Reason number 4, you have no boundaries. So most of my clients are first generation 6-figure earners. So basically that makes them the one that made it in their family. And with that designation comes a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure, and a lot of responsibility. And honestly, this could be a video all on its own, because it's a conversation that needs to be had. So if you're interested in me doing a video about that, just let me know in the comments below. So being the one that made it in your family basically makes you the go-to person. You're the one that everybody reaches out to when they need help. You're the one one that has to fund this project or this business idea, or you're the one that's expected to take care of your parents, or you're the one that's expected to help out your able-bodied siblings or cousins who are down on their luck. And don't let you be single with no kids, because your money all of a sudden becomes our money because it's just you. You don't have any other responsibilities, right? So, your finances become everybody's finances. And, I'm not saying don't be generous. I'm not saying, don't help your family. Of course not. But basically what I'm saying is I don't like this expectation that this person that made it, you're the one that made it in your family. So now you have to bear the burden of everyone's needs. There is so much guilt and pressure put on you when you're the one that made it in the family. So you truly have to create boundaries when it comes to your finances with your family. And I want to teach you a phrase that I teach all of my clients in order to help them establish boundaries. And that phrase is no. So how do you turn this around? The first thing you need to do is assess the damage. So I want you to look at your expenses, your debt, and all of your other spending relative to your income and start living below your means. So if you make $10,000 a month, your expenses should not be $10,000 a month. It should be well below $10,000. So do what you can to reduce your spending. And how will you reduce your spending? You have to get on a budget. I'm going to keep harping on this, guys. This is so important. So once you start living below your means and you get on a budget, you have to make a plan to get out of debt. And this is so important because the longer you have debt hanging around, that's less money that you can put towards investing. So you're paying all this interest on your debt. I want us to flip that and start making compound interest on your investments. Getting out of debt is the first step to building true wealth. And as a high income earner, you have that big shovel. So doing this can be relatively simple. You just need a plan. And after all of that, we are not even done yet, because I'm sure you want to retire one day, right? So we need to put that high income to work to build wealth for us so that we can break free from those golden handcuffs and start to truly live our choice life. So that is all I have for this video. If you enjoy conversations like this one, then watch this video next to keep the conversation going, and I'll see you there.